you ready? I apologize, folks. We're underway. Things got froze up, and I wasn't able to get it changed back. Had to get other things squared away before I could jump back in on it. We are underway here just a few minutes into the game. Again, I do apologize. Always chasing some type of problem, and I do apologize once again. The semifinal matchup between the Fox City Ice Dogs and the Portage Lake Pioneers. You're watching GLHL hockey from the historic Dome. And the Ice Dogs putting the first one in the back of the net. I believe that came off of the stick. Oh, of course I don't have it. There they are. I was going to say, I knew I had the right stack here. So that came off the stick of Seth Bishop, I believe. We'll get an answer for you here coming from the scorer's bench. Yes, it was. Scoring for the Ice Dogs. Number 29, Seth Bishop. Assisted by number 20, Aaron LaFave. Bishop from LaFave. Ice Dogs goal! Woo! Sure wish I would have found my coffee cup. Missing one lonely beer mug. Okay, it's not a beer mug. It's a nickel-day coffee mug. Maybe I just want a beer. That could be the problem. Oh, yuck. That was horrible. Sorry, had to get me a 5-hour energy, get me a little bit of ow! Something. Wake my old behind up. It's been a long, long weekend here so far. We're into Game 10. Coming at you from the historic Dome in Eagle River. The GLHL Tournament brought to you by General Beer of the Northwoods. Moved up ahead, Jansen with it. Battling for it down in the corner. Pios trying to dig it out. Jansen. Jansen throws it out high. Sent in off the stick of Hankmeyer. Nick Hankmeyer. Tipped right out front. Coming back down into the Ice Dogs' end. Puck goes just wide of Cheney. Moved up ahead. Just barely able to stay on his feet. I shouldn't say that. He did not stay on his feet. Was not able to stay on his feet. Was Matt Lefebvre. Excuse me, Aaron Lefebvre. Pios put it back in the back of the net. We're tied at 1 here at the historic Dome in Eagle River. Sorry, trying to wake myself back up here. It's been a bit. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 9, Zach Hill. Hill unassisted. Pioneers goal. Woo! And that's GLHL hockey, baby. Right out front, sent in, gonna go off of one of the Pios defenders that went off of McKay. It hurt a bit. Right back in the slot here. Able to dance his way through two of the Ice Dogs defenders was Zach Hill. Pushed off onto the far side. Pushed back down into the zone by Bishop. Tipped up, kept in. Moved down by Flicker. Can get tipped up into the netting behind the goal. 12:34 here remaining in the first period. We're tied at 1-1 at the historic Dome in Eagle River. Trying to get around to Ice Dogs' defense, unable to do so. Ice Dogs now circle back in their own zone. Going to go down the length of the ice, and we're going to get a stoppage here for icing. Great big thank you to our presenting sponsors, General Beer of the Northwoods and Modelo, brewed for those with a fighter's spirit. Back down into the Pios end. Kick save. Sent out of the zone. Coming back in. Poked away there. And the Pioneers able to put it in the back of the net. I believe that was Michael. Mike'sha. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 3, Austin Mike'sha. Assisted by number 16, Brett Hosworth. Also assisted by number 26, Spencer Donley. Woo! Back down, moving into the neutral zone here with it is the Ice Dogs. What happened? All right, we're back. I do apologize, running into some issues with a couple of things here. All right, all right, all right. All suddenly, all my volumes and everything got crashed, I guess. I'll dig in here and hopefully we got things coming through decent for you guys. Back into the Ice Dogs end. Pios shot just wide of the net. That shot came in from McKay. Bringing it back out of the zone now. Dumped in at the Pio's goal. It was pushed in that way by Aaron Lefebvre. Off on the far side. Picked away, sent in at the net, goes across in front. Pios back into the Ice Dogs' end. Off on the far side, coming out into the center with it. Hit a mass of bodies as he sent the shot in. Pinned up on the far side boards, moved back out high to the point. Right in front, looking for the tip. Back out to the point, over to the far side, Relou. Ice Dogs chop it up the boards, get it up out of the zone. Cheney knocks it down. Going to come all the way back now down into the Pio's end. Gathering up down there is Tavola. Relou with it. Sends it up ahead. Picked up by Niddle. Ice Dogs coming back the other way. It's poked away there as it comes into the zone by McKay. McKay able to stay with it as he comes into the Ice Dogs' end. Poked away. Gushel, he's taken off his feet. No call here as he was taken down. Gushel looking for a call. Pios bring it around the back of the net, looking for that centering pass. Broke up. Pushed off onto the far side. Laird moves it off. Gives it to Jansen. Back out through the neutral zone, off on the far side. Chipped back down into the zone by Hankmeyer. Hankmeyer looking for the wraparound, and it gets popped up in the air and chopped up and out of the way. We're going to have a high stick called here, and we're going to have a stoppage. 8:01 remaining in the first period. Pios lead 2-1 over the Fox City Ice Dogs. These two teams just played not too long ago. You may be looking saying, is this game one, game two? This is game two between these two teams. They just played, and the Ice Dogs able to get that wild card spot into this semifinal matchup. You got to watch out with the Ice Dogs. They are dangerous in this wild card spot. They've come back and won the tournament before from this spot. Cheney makes the stop. 7:52 remaining in the first period. On the draw for the Ice Dogs is Flicker. He faced off with Donley. Puck tossed out into the neutral zone. Moved across. Donley throws it back. Donley pass it off to Mitchell. Well, it appears that it was backwards. I guess Michel's going to get the goal, and Donley's going to get the assist. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 3, Austin Mikes. Assisted by number 26, Spencer Donley. Pioneers goal. Woo! Back through the neutral zone here. Coming back in is Erkler. Maybe it's Euchre. We're going to have a slash call coming up. It's going to go against digging. Rick. Ice Dog. Ice Dog's penalty on number 24, 2 minutes for slashing. All right, well, I'm going to give up. I went digging and did my work to try and find it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. Pio's going to put another one in the back of the net. Picking up the power play goal. Woo! Woo! Pioneers' goal was scored by number 8, Dawson McKay. Assisted by number 19, Matt Merschel. Also assisted by number 14. Ice Dogs goal! Scored by number 6, Nick Jansen. Assisted by number 26, Tom Green. Also assisted by number 11, Nick Laird. Okay, now that I've had to dig through everything trying to find numbers that I don't even have to be able to give people's names, so I do apologize. Yeah, it's good. Good stuff. Hey, don't feel bad if you would just feel you want to turn off your volume and just watch the game. That's fine, too. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just some silly guy sitting up here rambling that just, loves to make noise, I guess. Over onto the far side. Circled back into the zone with it is Broatsman. Moved over to the far side. Oh, he was looking for Jansen coming across in front. Hustling back to pick it up is Zoomer. Right out front, deflected off a mass of bodies, off into the near side corner. Pushed up into the neutral zone. Back down into the near corner, going to trickle around the back of the net. Pushed back into this near corner again. Pushed up the boards now. Bringing it out through the neutral zone is Euchert. He's taken off his feet there by Broatsman. Turner all over. .24 down there. Ice Dogs goal, Ice Dogs goal, Ice Dogs goal. Just 19 seconds remaining in the period, and the Ice Dogs bring it back within one. sakes. Well, I don't have a 26 on here anywhere. So scoring for the Ice Dogs, number 26, I guess it was Snuggle McHuggins because I don't know who it was. I apologize. Love you guys.
Are you ready?
Woo!
Are you ready?
Woo! here for the second period of the of the semifinal matchup here between the Portage Lake Pioneers and the Fox City Ice Dogs. Once again, thank you to all of you tuning in to our broadcast here of the 2025 GLHL Tournament. Knocked down. Pio's coming in. Zoomer coming in on the net. Coming back the other way with it. Sorry, guys, trying to fix a couple things here. I apologize if I'm just breathing into the mic on you and being all Darth Vader. Hope that's not what I'm doing to you. Some things just don't want to be fixed here. Open up now. There you go. Cheney deflects it off to the near side. Back out through the neutral zone here. Laird with it. He had Jansen with him, but the puck was gloved up there by the Pios goalie. Oh, that's easier to read. Much. Let's get rid of those. Bringing it out into the neutral zone. The Pioneers move into the Ice Dogs' end. It was brought into the zone of Cale Markham. Around the back of the net, picked up there by Sileny. Loses an edge. Coming back out of the zone here. Looking for Laird. It's going to go right past him and back gets stopped up. Back down by the Pios goalie. Petralis. Pushed down into the Ice Dogs' end here around the back of the net. Left off. Pushed up the boards, out high onto the point. Shot's going to come in just wide of the net. That shot came in off of the stick of Matt Merschel. Back down in the near side corner here. Looking for a centering pass. Big swat at it. Nothing doing, though. Back into the zone. Broke up there as it came in by Thompson. Coming back through the neutral zone with it. The Ice Dogs enter the zone. Flicker had the puck. Petralis able to get a glove on top of it, back on the side of the net here. Might have been on top of the back of the net, but he got a glove over it, get the stoppage. 15:32 here remaining in the second period. Big shot out from the point. Kick saved by Petralis. Shot came in off the stick of Pinkston. Knocked down Pinkston. Throws it in off of one of the referees. I believe that went off of Brownie. He looks like he's wincing a little bit. That might have hurt. Over on the far side, Bishop circles back below the bottom of the circle. Left off, coming into the zone with it now is Lefebvre. Kick saved by Petralis. Out onto the far side, coming into the zone with it. Tipped away by Labarge. Out in the neutral zone. Relou. He sends it in. Drew Cheney deflects it away. Picked up there by Pinkston. Stopped up behind the net. Going to throw it off the boards. Going to be picked up by Euchre. Back through the neutral zone with it here. Coming in is Brotsman. Going to be stopped up. 13:59 here remaining in the second period. The 2025 GLHL Tournament brought to you by General Beer of the Northwoods and Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Moved across onto the far side. Jansen unable to control it as it came in, going to bounce down into the far side corner. Out high onto the point. Coming across the point with it. I believe it was Blade Cheney. Wish I had a pen so I could change that right here, right now. And the Pios putting it in the back of the net. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 24, Brendan Erickson. Assisted by number 29, Alec Brotsman. Woo! Time of the goal, 6:40. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 8, Dawson McKay. Assisted by number 29, Alec Brotsman. Also assisted by number 9, Zach Hill. Time of the goal, 7:13 of the second period. Woo! We want to wish a very happy birthday to the Calumet number 6, Matt Yeo. Petralis able to get the door closed here as the Ice Dogs were poking at it. Off on the far side, big shot there, just wide. Shot came in off the stick of Pinkston. Taken down from behind and slow to get up. I'm thinking it was Tom Green. I believe that's who was rolling at 24, I believe I was told. Excuse me. Dumped back down in. Kind of fluttered back at the goal there, but it was gloved down by Petralis. Modelo's beer, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. It's Modelo time. Sent in by Laird. Able to be gloved up real easy by Petralis. On the draw for the Ice Dogs was Hankmeyer. Moved out high to Pinkston. Working to keep it in the zone. Able to do so. Laird takes it down into the corner. Moved down onto the near side here. Battling forward along the boards. Ice Dogs able to come away with it. Relu lays a nice hit. Back down into the Ice Dogs' end. Nice passing coming across. Harris put a beautiful pass right on the stick of his teammate off the far post. Cheney stops it up, moves it behind the net. He left it off there for Cheney. Moved out to the near side here. Lefebvre brings it into the Pio's end. Swept up and taken by Hankmeyer. Hankmeyer turns back, has it kicked away by Relu. Pushed out into the slot. That shot comes in just off the post by number 20, Aaron Lefebvre. Pinkston circles back. His shot looking for a tip from Lefebvre. 6-3, Pio's up here over the Ice Dogs. 9:37 remaining in the second period. Thought I hit another one. Could have swore I did. I apologize, guys. Looking for things. right out front here, able to be knocked away. Going to get tossed out high through the air, going to go the length of the ice. And we're going to get a stoppage here. It's alive. Moved around the back of the net. Pinkston throws it off the boards. Throws it up the boards where it was picked up there by, oh, come on, by Euchre. Pio's into the slot here. Oh, I don't know how that was missed there, but he missed it around the net and went around the back. Dogs making a change. Coming out for the Ice Dogs, Flicker. LaFave. I believe that's Cheney. Pinkston's out there. And Bishop. Shot there. Cheney takes it off the chest. Moved out into the neutral zone. Picked up by McKay. Moved off on the far side. Back into the Ice Dogs' end. He was looking for his man coming in, but it was stole away by the Ice Dogs. LaFave tried to bring it in, lost it, trying to dance around a couple players. Back down into the Ice Dogs' end. Stick poke away from the Pio's player. Here come the Ice Dogs back into the Pio's end. That shot eaten up by one of the Pios. Things could get physical here. And we got a penalty coming up here. And we got a trip coming up on the Pios. That's going to be on number 9, Zach Hill. Pioneers penalty on number 9, Zach Hill. He received 2 minutes for tripping. Time of the penalty, 7:24. With that, we have an Ice Dogs power play. Herlew going to send it down all the way. Cheney knocks it down. Pushes it into the far corner. It's swept behind the net. Picked up. It's going to get moved off. Zoomer into the zone. Finally throws it back out high to the point. Hankmeyer moves it across to Pinkston. Hankmeyer tried to give it back to Pinkston, but it's going to come out of the zone. Pinkston turned around. Stole away by the Pios here, coming back into the zone. Cheney able to block it up. Kicked out, pushed back to Jansen, below the goal line. Pinkston. He's going to give it right back to Jansen. Pinkston taken off his feet with a nice hit. And I believe that came from Donnelly. Stepping away for just a second, folks. Back with you. I do apologize about the dead air there. Pioneers coming back out of the zone. Sending it in off the stick of Brotzman. 5 seconds remaining in the penalty kill. Waiting on the call to come across. I do apologize here. Being pulled in a couple different directions. 29 going to get that unassisted. That came in off the stick of Alec Brotzman. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 29, Alec Brotzman. Unassisted, Brotzman. Pioneers goal. Cheney sweeps it away. Out of the zone. Sent back in by Turner. Cheney stops it up, gives it to Pinkston. Pinkston. Good hit there out at center ice. Both of them staying on their feet, though. Jansen sends it out to the point. Pinkston going to send it in, going to go off a player. Harrison Lard battling over in the far corner. It gets kicked around to the near side. Brought out through the neutral zone. Back down into the dog's end. Taken away. Cheney taken off his feet. Cheney looks like he's hurting a little bit. I'm not sure. He's like flexing his knee. Petralis deflects one off the buffer. Gonna flutter up in there. Loose. And it's going to get gloved down. Shot came in off the stick of Flicker. 3:18 remaining in the second period. 7-3 lead for the Portage Lake Pioneers. Face off to the near side of Petralis. Sent in, glove down. It was wide of the net. Okay. All right. Well, we will try to work with that and do what we got to do. Interesting. I apologize, folks. Just trying to get a couple things squared away here as we're dealing with some other things here that are coming into me. Puck's tossed off the boards. Shot there, it's in the back of the net. Beautiful shot by Aaron the Fave. Scoring for the Ice Dogs, number 20, Aaron LaFave. Assisted by number 17, Rick Pinkston. Also assisted by number 23, Jeff Flicker. Ice Dogs goal. Woo! And that's GLHL hockey, baby. Through the neutral zone, dumped back in. Was dumped in by Flicker. Broke up coming through the neutral zone here. Pushed off to the far side by LaFave. Back over onto the near side here, giving chase is Bishop. Puck gets sent all the way out. And it's sent ahead. Just tossing it back and forth here, it seems, at the moment. Nobody being able to do much with it. Ice Dogs back down into the Pio's end. Try to toss it off into the far corner. 1 minute remaining in the second period. 1 minute. Chopped away. Still coming back the other way. Just off the post as he came in. That was Mirschel. Pios. Keep it down below the goal line. Moved out to the top of the circle. Shot there off of a defender. It was a nice little deflection. Cheney hunched over again. It looks like he's hurting, I'm telling you. He's battling and wincing, you know. There, you can see it. It's visible. Off on the far side. Stopped up behind the net. Labarge tosses it up the boards. Picked up on the near side as it comes through by Tom Green. Tom Green into the zone. Goes around Laird. Laird almost able to get control of it, but he's rubbed off the puck there by Ralou. A little bit of extracurricular jawing here back and forth. Things are going to be heated for the third period. Woo! Oh, stop on out at the beer stand. Get yourself An ice-cold, refreshing adult beverage. Just $4 a can. But if you buy 3, we're going to give you the 4th one free. Woo!
Are you ready?
Woo! 2025 GLHL Tournament brought to you by Modelo. Root for those with a fighting spirit. And General Beer of the Northwoods, our presenting sponsor all weekend long. Sorry about that, folks. It's a long climb up into the bird's nest up here. Don't mind me, just trying to break everything. Excuse me if I'm all Darth Vader because my fat behind had to climb so many stairs to get up here. Pio's put it in the back of the net. Excuse me. Oh, my Lord. Under a minute into the period, and the Pios are up 8-4. All right, who we got? Scoring for the Pioneers, number 29, Alec Brotzman, assisted by number 8, Dawson McKay. As the internet's dropping out, I can't even get messages across. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 16, Brett Halsworth, assisted by number 26, Spencer Donley. Dogs, bring it up out of the zone. Off the glass, chopped down. Out on the far side, tossed into the near side corner. Back to pick it up was Koenig. Tipped right out front. Gloved up there as it comes across. We got some extracurricular pushing and shoving going on. As Sony took a swing as he came back up. 17:25 here. It's 9-4. Pioneers over the Ice Dogs. Off in front of the penalty box. Moved across, Koenig moves it ahead. He's almost dumped into his box. Tossed away by Bishop. Coming into the zone, shot there, right into the chest of Petralis. Shot came in from Euchre. Round the back of the net, off on the far side. Hops up and out of the zone, gloved back down as it was sent back in by Erickson. Moved across to the near side over here. Thrown back behind the net by McKay, back over to Erickson. Erickson moves it ahead out into the neutral zone. Zoomer taking off his feet there. Gonna hop back in front of the net. Swiped around back. There was a goalie change for Fox Cities as number 35, James Schroeder, is now in net for the Ice Dogs. Things are going to get a little bit more physical here. These two teams are going on their 6th period here of play. Off the boards, he passes it to himself, kicks it ahead. Shoves it down into the zone. Nick Jansen giving chase. Harris going to beat him to it. Brings it around the back of his own net. Harris turns back, moves it up ahead. It's going to go all the way down into the Ice Dogs' end, and we're going to have a stoppage here for icing. 15:33 remaining in the 3rd period. 9-4, the Pios are up over the Ice Dogs here in the first semifinal game of the GLHL Tournament. Brought to you by General Beer of the Northwoods and Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Back up into the zone, Donley. Paxton tried to catch it coming across, unable to do so. Move back into the Ice Dogs' end. Pinkston throws it behind the net. LaBarge hustles over to the far boards. Shoves it out into the neutral zone. Picked up, coming into the zone with LaFave. Sends it in, deflected just wide of the net. Pios bring it around the back of the net, poked away. LaFave tries to put it out high. It's broke up there by the Pios. Sent out through the air, and we're going to have Donley here with his own little breakaway. But he's taken out, coming across as it's chopped away there by Schroeder. He just had a half a step, and he was around the defender and off to the races. Coming back the other way. Broatsman with it. And Broatsman putting it in the back of the net again. Broatsman going to get the goal here for the Pios. .29 from 3, no harm. That's right, guys. I'm sorry. We've blown it enough for him. It's 10-4. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 29, Alec Broatsman. Assisted by number 3, Austin McShull. Time to goal, 5:03. Shot there, deflected by Merkshow. Pushing on them, each other back there. Able to kick it out right out front. Another shot, and it's in the back of the net. That one came off with a stick of Spencer Donnelly. Scoring for the Pioneers, number 26, Spencer Donnelly. Yo. Oh, thank you. Stolen away from Dom White there. He's a big brick wall to get through, that's for sure. Moving it across the blue line, down to the outside of the far circle. Dumped back around the back of the net. Back down below the goal line, it's swept out on the far side. Pio's able to get control of it right in the slot. Their shot's deflected away. Back up out of the zone, moved across right in front of the penalty box. Gonna send it back in, trying to get it on net, but it was broke up there as it came in by Flicker. Flicker turns it up, comes out of the zone with it, through the neutral zone, into the Pio's end. Broke up as he comes between three players, hops up in the front of the Pio's bench. Now back down in the zone, looking for a centering pass there, was Lefebvre. Pio's bringing it back the other way. Back into the zone, that was LaCourte coming in, but they're offsides. 11:20 here remaining in the third period. It's 11-4 Pioneers. They came in here ranked number 1 in the tournament. Up next, we have Eagle River and Fond du Lac. One of those bitter old rivalries. Tom White moves it out into neutral ice, where it's picked up there by the Pios. Off on the far side, Euchre. He took out Gushel as he dipped underneath him. Coming through, causing some havoc there as he came through was Tom Green. Matt Labarge moves it up the far side. Labarge into the zone. Has it poked away from him. He able to get it back. Almost able to tuck it away in the 5-hole there was Labarge. 10:21 here remaining in the third period. Pios out shooting the Ice Dogs 46-26. On the draw for the Ice Dogs was Hankmeyer. Pios bring it up out of the zone. Hankmeyer Had it off his shin guards, unable to hold on to it, though, as it was just out in front of him. Laird, able to break things up. Here's Dom White with it. Big Dom White into the zone. His shot, hard shot, but very wide of the net. Right in front, Dom looking for the tip. Off of the shot from Laird. Coming back the other way with it. The Pios back down into the Ice Dogs' end. It was Brotsman that came and brought it into the zone. Off on the far side. It's picked up out of the corner by McKay. Brotsman taken off his feet as a shot goes up over the net. We got a slash call coming up on the Ice Dogs. That's going to go against Hankmeyer, number 22. Ice Dogs penalty on number 22. Nick Hankmeyer, he received 2 minutes for slashing. Time of the penalty, 9:26. Petralis comes out, knocks it down, and lets it wait for Lax. Back up through the neutral zone and into the Ice Dogs' end with a hard shot was Matt Menta. Put off the boards, out into the neutral zone where it's picked up by Lax. Lax back into the Ice Dogs' end. He's going to leave it off, but it's going to be stole away there. Coming the other way with it is Lefebvre. Lefebvre had guys all over his backside, but Petralis able to get a leg out and get the stop. Coming back out of the zone with it here. And into the Ice Dogs' end is Travallo. Out high onto the point. Shot in from the point. Comes off the stick of McKay. Riley McKay. Back out to McKay again. Riley McKay shoots again. Off the post. No goal there as it's waved off by the official in the corner. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Face-off's going to be to the far side of Schroeder. It was Euchre on the draw for the Ice Dogs. Pushed up the boards and out of the zone. Back down low. Guess it didn't come out of the zone. I do apologize. Schroeder going to get a glove on top of it on the corner of the net. 22 seconds remain in the power play opportunity here for the Pios. 7:48 remaining in the game. On the draw. Right out front, able to break it up was Euchre. Ice Dogs. Watch it come around the back of the net. Their penalty's just about over. Both teams at full strength. Hankmeyer back out on the ice after his 2-minute trip to the sin bin. Moved right out front, swept away by the Ice Dogs defense. Sent back in just wide of the net off the stick of Erickson. That shot's going to come in from the court. Schroeder able to get the stop here. 7:01 remaining in the game. Dumped down. Poked around the back of the net. Oh, baby, we're going to war. Two big heavyweights squaring off. Ravalli and Big Dom White at center ice at the historic Dome. Big Dom White feeding him punches. Fun battle between two heavyweights out here. Woo! I think we're just going 4-4 on that one. Scoring for the Ice Dogs, number 11, Nick Laird. Assisted by number 22, Nick Hankmeyer. Woo! Back down in the zone, shot there. Gonna be deflected up and over the net. Looks like that one hurt Gushel on the far side. He's moving kind of slow. So it seems that we're having some poor quality coming through. I'm not sure if it's the weather coming in outside. Or what it may be. We're going to try to get it figured out. On his way over to the sin bin, number 26. Blade Cheney. Refs to the penalty box. Ice Dogs penalty on number 26, Blade Cheney. He received 2 minutes for cross-checking. Time of the penalty, 4:29. Back down in the far side, bringing it around the back of the net, looking for the wraparound there. As he came around, was Flicker. On the near side here, coming into the zone with it. The Pios shot up over the net. Came off of the stick of Menta. Lost by Menta out into the neutral zone. Going to be moved off onto the far side. Back down into the Pios end, or into the Ice Dogs end. The Pios shoot it just wide of the net. Ice Dogs bring it back in. Tipped across. Beautiful little pass there. Unable to really get anything on it as it was hopping up over his stick. Oh, both of them went down hard into the corner there. As I believe that was Tom Green lost an edge. Took him out on his way through there. Puck slides across. Pios control it in front of the Ice Dogs bench. Move it down into the near side corner. Come out around the top of the circle. Moved across onto the far side. Top of the circle, he's going to take a shot. It's going to be gloved up there by Schroeder. 2:44 here remaining in the third period. 16 seconds remains in the power play opportunity here for the Pios. Going to come down the length of the ice. Petralis throws it back out into the neutral zone. Out to Sears. Sears has it poked away as he comes through by Koenig. Coming back the other way. Both teams at 4-on-4. Both teams at full strength. Turn back. Coming in towards the net. And he puts it in the back of the net. Seth Bishop put it away with just 2:03 remaining on the clock. Ice Dogs coming back into the Pios end. Oh, Nick Laird was right there, but his stick was tied up. Right up front. Laird takes one from his backside. He throws her in there. Gonna be deflected away. Back down in the Ice Dogs end. LaCourte with it. Moved off onto the far side. Ravelli. Dumped back down, all the way down into the Pios end below the goal line. Brought around the back of the net. Just about a minute to play here in the game. 1:05. 1 minute remaining in the game. 1 minute. You're welcome. All the way down to Petralis. Pios going to come away with this victory here, 11-6 over the Fox City Ice Dogs in the first semifinal game of the 2025 GLHL Championship. Pios stamping their ticket into the championship game. Up next, the Eagle River Falcons take on the Fond du Lac Bears. Are you ready for a battle? Because, oh baby, you got one coming your way. These two teams love to go. That's going to do it here from the historic Dome for semifinal number 1. Your winners of semifinal number 1, moving on to the championship game tomorrow, the Portage Lake Pioneers. We do ask both teams to remain on the ice, along with the other teams to come on out onto the ice, as we are going to be holding the awards ceremony for the Great Lakes Hockey League.
We want to invite the Eagle River Falcons and the Fond du Lac Bears out onto the ice. Ice Dogs, please remain on the ice. 17, back on the ice, please. We are going to be holding the GLHL Awards ceremony. The 2025 GLHL Tournament brought to you by General Beer of the Northwoods and Modelo's, for those with a fighting spirit. I want to welcome you all and thank you for coming and joining us at the 2025 GLHL Tournament here at the historic Dome in Eagle River. It's been some absolutely great hockey all weekend long here at the historic Dome. Tomorrow in the championship game, it's going to be the Portage Lakes Pioneers against either the Eagle River Falcons or the Fond du Lac Bears. We're about to find out. So right now, we want to hand out some awards. I'm going to turn it over to the Secretary of the League, Mr. Junior Stebbins. Here with him, Mr. give you